doing it. You supposed to be happy you sitting there with Kid L. Why you mad?
The Kid L Podcast.
Rocking and rolling. We have Kamal Smith in the building. How you doing today, bro?
I'm good, man. How about you?
I'm doing very good, man. We're talking about the film scene today, right?
Yeah, man. It's alive and kicking in Detroit.
Yeah, it's a lot going on. There's a lot of independent films being made right now and funded, and they actually have pretty decent budgets. And you have a whole arsenal of great comedians and actors and singers and artists that are able to get in these movies and really market them very well, so that people can come out and see these movies. And you're one of the people that are presenting these films on a consistent basis, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Talk about where you're from, man.
East side of Detroit, born and raised, man.
Okay. Were you always inspired to be a filmmaker or a part of the film scene growing up?
Not at all. That came like when in my mid-20s, late 20s. I was actually, music was first for me. You know? And then that didn't work. And transitioned into film.
Talk about the early stages of being in Detroit, growing up there, and what led you into the first part of entertainment, which was music for you.
Yeah, music was just always just something I love. Being at Cast Tech, it's a lot of adventure there, talent shows, this, that, and the other. So, I was actually in a boy band. Yes, this is true.
Really?
Yeah. And we was like idolizing Boys to Men and Jodeci and all that back in the day. But that went on to 10 years, I think. I went to college and traveled around the world doing concert choir. And then I just tried to make it solo, when I graduated. And I didn't work. American Idol, 2003, that was it. That was it, Al. It was like, I didn't make it, and I was just sick of chasing the dream. You know what I mean?
Right. You were so you were in a choir group.
Yeah. Wilberforce University Concert Choir. Cool. And so, I never had a what you call it, a spring break. Like spring break for us is when we toured. And so, we would just sing all around churches, AME churches all around the world. So, yeah.
Wow. So at the end of the day, you guys were technically successful as a choir group because you're going across the world, right?
Oh, yeah. That was some great times. Great times. When you're 18, 19, and you just literally, we went, all the way to, I guess the first was Cairo, Egypt.
Wow.
And sung in the Cairo Opera House. So, unfortunately, things like that, when you're young and you got a lot of girls in the choir, you don't think about the culture of things. My mind was definitely in other places, but it was, rolled the Nile River, all that stuff. It was a great time.
Excellent, man.
Yeah, man.
So when did you break into creating films and being a part of the film industry?
So I was in theater first. It really, there was no rhyme or reason. My girl at the time was just, I guess she could sense the kind of the slump I was in. I was kind of defeated that it didn't work out in American Idol. Like I really thought that was going to be like it, and that was days of the Paula, Simon, and Randy days. You know what I mean? And like I made it to the second round, and like this is it. Calling my mom, this is it. It's going to happen, and it didn't happen. So
what was the process of getting into American Idol?
Crazy. It was like everything that you, and I haven't watched the show in a million years, but in the beginning stages, everything that you saw. So we were literally 10,000 people. Well, by the time we actually got in the stadium, we was at the Cleveland Brown Stadium. So we slept overnight, literally outside the stadium. People had tents. People were singing all night, 2:00 in the morning. And then it's just like the first time they open a roller coaster. You know what I mean? Like you got the lines going back and forth, zigzagging. And you're standing in there for hours, and you're finally there. And it's like in one end zone. They call you up and you sang in front of one of the producers. This is not, Simon and all them. This is like just a stage one. You know what I mean? And it was like that was kind of a big dope deal because like can you imagine 15,000 people like cheering for you, right? So it's like you sang whatever you sang, and then they either take your wristband and say have a nice day, or they say go on to the next end zone. So walk into the next end zone like I made it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And everybody like because you're rooting for each other at this point in time. So that was cool until round 2, and it was like, hey, thanks.
They just told you to go,
dude. It was so cutlass. It was like, thanks. I didn't even get the whole 2 words out. It was just, yep, thanks.
Yeah, I was in, I think I was in California in 2011 for a casting audition. My aunt was actually producing a film, and I was actually one of the people watching the casting happening.
Okay.
And I remember, like, she didn't understand that you have to be cutthroat and just tell them to, like, we're not interested right away, because you have to get to the next person pretty quick.
Yeah.
So by the time you figure out you're not going to fit this, you're like, okay, thank you, and you got to go. And then, you know, the artist or the actor feels insulted, but it's like, hey, there's a process to this. Unfortunately, it's no disrespect, but we have to get to the next person, right?
Yeah.
And so you're kind of wasting
Now,
everybody's
being
time.
on this other side of the table now, I understand that. You know what I mean? But I'm still, now anybody who's ever come and auditioned for me, I don't like to say good or bad, but good and you could do better. I try to give them, you know, words of encouragement as they walk out the door, what they could do better.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I've been that thanks guy, and I remember it sucked. But it is, you know, so many people that's waiting in the lobby that you got to get to. So in reference to your aunt, I can't see the whole 2-minute monologue that you prepared for me because I know in the first 20 seconds, this is not it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and I got 100 and something more people just waiting, you know what I mean? So I'll cut them short, but I still let them go with encouraging words because I want everybody to win, man.
Right, a little bit like some wisdom before, you know, the departure, right, at the end of the day, which is
Correct.
pretty cool. You still have that maybe 20 seconds as they're walking to the door to leave, like, hey, man, just know this. Just know this before you feel insulted tonight.
Yeah,
But talk about the break into the film industry for you as far as the very early stages.
Yeah, so really, to be honest with you, I have to give all credit to K. Deasy, man. I was, again, I was doing plays first. So my very first play was 2005. And then I started my own production company. At the time, it was Lens Boys Media before it was Kamal Smith Films. Yeah. So my first play that I wrote, directed, and produced was 2007. And then I think it was 2009, I actually had Deasy in the film. And then he introduced me to some guys that came to the film and said, yo, they want to do a movie. And that movie was Loud Pack. And I was like, all right, cool. I had no idea, literally what I was doing. But that was the summer of 2011, in the middle of a heat wave. And it was great because like everything that you name, we had, right? So Foolish was the star. So you talk about comedians, right? Yeah. You had talking about music artists, dude. We had Benny Siegel in this film. You know what I mean? Radio personality, Shorty the Prince was in it, Paige Young was in it. So all these people were in it, and it's like, here I am, have to lead the ship, right? And really not knowing what I'm doing because it's so much different from stage. You know what I mean? But I mean, it was a great alley-oop from Deasy. And of course, Deasy was in it, and we had a good time. It was very, very long, strenuous hours, but you learn from it. It was kind of a learn on the fly type of thing.
And did you see success from the first productions?
Yeah. So before Loud Pack, man, I was doing sold out shows from 2007 to my last play was actually 2016, and so which is actually what I became my last film that I just produced this year. But the success of theater, name wise, it carried on to it helped have a name out here when I started doing film, right? Because from Loud Pack, then I went and started doing my own sitcom at TV 20, right? But people still remember me from, one or two things. I was also a radio personality on a Hot 107.5, right? So when I got to that, I dropped my radio name, which was Contact at the time, and just said Kamal Smith because I wanted people to know the same people that you're hearing every day on the radio. That's the guy that has a TV show as well. You know what I mean? And as I ended my shows, I used to actually have weekend shows as well. It was cool because my TV show came on right as I was signing off on radio. And I'm like telling everybody, hey, don't forget to check out Because We're Men. You know what I mean? So the success was pretty much always there. Cool.
Talk about the TV show, man. Walk us through the early production stages of it.
Lord, Because We're Men, that was just it was a fun time, right? You're literally seeing yourself on television weekly. You know what I mean? I think so. That's the moments where you're starting to get and stop in the streets and hey, you the dude on TV. Yeah, man, that's me. So that was always cool. And to have 2 seasons with it was really cool. And shout out to David Bangura. I mean, he's I don't know where in the world he is now, but at the time he was the president of TV 20.
Was TV 20 network? Is it network or is it?
No, it's local.
It's local.
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
cool.
My TV 20, yeah. Well, I don't know what it is now, but I think it's still.
So, what region had access to it?
Markets, obviously Midwest, and by the time we got to the second season, it actually kind of poured over into, I want to say it wasn't the South, Midwest, and I want to say a couple of East Coast cities, but not a lot. You had to be up late and something. I remember he worked out that deal for us, and that was kind of cool. But he was like, we're expanding. But the thing about here's the thing about TV20, right? TV20 was in a sense, pay to play, right? So for the most part, not just my content, but whoever, you know what I mean? Like you had to pay to put like your stuff on. The deal that I had was kind of cool because I didn't. It was really just a very nice plug from my man Dave. But I had to find my old advertisement, and so that was the only way I could make any type of money off of the show. You know what I mean? So. Wow. The reason why I wasn't in season 3 and yada, yada, yada was just because, I'm literally funding this whole thing, right? Much like I'm doing movies now, but times are different now. You know what I mean? The whole independent culture has shifted because of the pandemic. We are like hot now. You know what I mean? Like before the pandemic, we were rising up, you know what I mean? But it wasn't as... like everybody's watching Tubi now. You know what I mean? And I'd say everybody, like even Hollywood, is watching Tubi now. You know what I mean? So it's like literally all eyes on us.
Yeah, when I was first introduced to Tubi films, I was like, no offense, but what is this hot garbage, right? At first. And then I started talking to my friends about it, and they're like, I like it, though. Like, they were like, I know the plots are crazy. I know a lot of stuff doesn't make sense a lot of the times, but I just enjoy that it's not so serious and that it's a low production and I get to see my friends in it and all these, like, different equations to why people watch Tubi movies, which I still don't understand it. There are some gems in there, though, for sure. There are some movies that are actually, like, qualified.
And that's the thing, man. I think you're gonna get a balance of both, right? Like, obviously, there are movies that you're like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Which is the whole notion, Tubi done it again, or the Tubi movies have to stop because there's some things you just see and it's like, dude, like, how did you even create, or not even if you created? When it got to the editing, y'all didn't see whatever. So many things. But then there's really good content on there as well, and I'm excited for Detroit. Mostly because we're the ones producing that, right? To where there are people are literally coming from out of town to either live here to be a part of this journey, or even back and forth because they see what's rising.
Yeah, I was in a Tubi movie before.
Which one?
I was in Strange Fruit with Jackpot the Juice, Tattoo Man Page, and Crystal the Doll. Yeah,
when she was the dancer.
Yeah,
okay, I remember that.
I'm not gonna lie, man. When even though I was at the theater, I watched and people laughed at my scene and they had a great time with my scenes. Yeah. But when I left that theater, I didn't want to look at anybody because I was like, I can't believe I put myself in that film. That's not like.
Did you do this?
I literally, Jackpot was like, because Jackpot's my friend, and he's the one who got me into the film. But he was trying to shake, he was trying to shake my hand. I was like, I just want to leave, bro. I don't even want to, because at the end of the day, there is a profit scheme behind making some of these Tubi films where it's like, all you got to do at the end of the day is get the hottest celebrities in Detroit to market your film for you, right? Mm-hmm. And then the movie's not good though. That's the problem with it. But I think it's irresponsible and it's like not fair to what filmmaking is, and it's not fair to the market as well.
So that part, right? And so we live in an era right now, like, where the most and I'm not talking about Strange Fruit, I'm just saying in general, right? The garbage probably profits the money. This is not even the ones with all the hot celebrities. These are the ones that people are making fun of, right? Mm-hmm. Because there's these Tubi groups, right? And so if you get on there and like, yo, did y'all see this movie? Oh my God, it's so trash. We live in a world right now where they're gonna go watch that movie because it's so trash. But I've told you that it's trash, right? And they'll put a scene in here where, okay, how did this person just get shot in the head, but now he's back alive? Whatever, I'm just making things up, you know what I mean? But that's the movies that are like literally making money because everybody's streaming it just to be able to say, I saw that movie, yo, you was right, that joint was trash. So there's that, and then there's the people who are really diving into the art of filmmaking, right, and really respects the art and really tries to give good messages and make good content. You know what I mean? It takes it serious from beginning to end. And when I say that, I mean from the cameras that we use to the audio, to the actors who are actors. You know what I mean? And really just want to make good art. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I understand, and that's something that you're trying to craft stuff and be competent in the creations that you have, right?
Correct.
What was your break into actually creating a film?
So my first film, not Loud Pack, but was Coffee Talk, comedy, and I think for me at the time, romantic comedy is a lot what I played on in theater, so it was easy for me. So it was like, okay, if I want to do this again, let me do kind of what I know, right? Because all my plays were love and relationships, that type of stuff, right? I wasn't the typical gospel stage plays back then. Those always never excited me. It was like, strike up the music because they're doom 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 and sing a song about Jesus and everybody's gonna laugh. You know what I mean? That always just irritated me. So I went more of the love and relationship route, and doing that, bringing Coffee Talk onto actually with Dez and Dez Cortez Crenshaw, LaBrittany, Shelby Lee, Kiana Evans. It was a great movie. It was a great first movie for me. You know what I mean? I learned a lot from Loud Pack. I learned my mistakes. You know what I mean? And then as anything, the more you do it, the better you get. Right.
Right.
I still go back and look at Coffee Talk now, and still like, ugh, you know what I mean? But it wasn't as bad as Loud Pack. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, you just with everything, if you really, really believe in it and you really hone in on it, you'll get better, and that's really the name of the game.
Right. So you were just very conscious about increasing your skills and your ability.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
how to tell stories, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
What did you learn from your first film, and how does that contribute to where you are at right now?
Man, I could tell you so many things. I could start at scheduling. You know what I mean? Shooting schedules are so important, dude. Like, so important. For me, it's an art form, right? Because for me, what I really keep in mind is I don't want to burn out my crew. Mm-hmm. Not my cast, my crew. Because my crew is going to be on there every single day. You know what I mean? Versus the cast, they have their select days they shoot on. Unless you're the lead character, you're probably there every day. But I don't want to burn him or her out either. You know what I mean? The amount of hours. I know if you have a late day that goes, I don't know, let's just say 15, 16-hour day, that next day I got to reward y'all. So let's only do like a 5 hour, 6 hour, 7-hour day, 6-hour day. You know what I mean? I should have answered this the first time. You can't cheat. You get what you pay for, man. With Coffee Talk, it was like very shoestring budget. You know what I mean? So I learned, okay, if you're going to do a movie, get your budget up. You know what I mean? And don't try to cheat it, because you can only get what you can afford, right? So that goes from, the DP to sound engineer, whoever, actors, you know what I mean? You can't cheat it, man. You get what you pay for. So I'm definitely a fan of making sure that you have your money right before you just say you want to do a movie. You know what I mean? Yeah. And some of these movies out here are stalled. So now you put yourself in a position where your script is done and yada yada yada, but you don't have the money to actually produce it.
Right. With micro budget films, right? That's what Tubi's are, right? Tubi, for the most part, you're seeing a lot of micro budget films which are filmed for under $100,000, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of these Tubi movies are being filmed for under $100,000, and the reason you couldn't do this 20 years ago is because now social media exists, right? So because I believe, again, like I said earlier, social media is free marketing, right? Mm-hmm. So if you get a very famous rapper or artist to be in your movie, that's free marketing for your movie.
Correct.
For everybody to come see Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that's free marketing, right? If a rapper has 150,000 followers and he's telling everybody to come see his movie that he's in on Friday, mm-hmm. everybody's going to pull up to come see it. That wasn't possible 20 years ago. Like, if you didn't have the money to make an actual good film, it's not going to be heard about in the festivals. Nobody's going to care to see it. Only the festivals are going to really circulate it. Nobody else is going to really circulate it.
Correct.
There are some that broke through. Like, I think the Blair Witch Project was shot for fairly cheap. That was one of the first.
Extremely cheap, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
that was like one of
but look how they shot it, though, right?
Yeah.
They shot it like it was, a phone. You know what I mean? So it didn't have to be the Red Dragon and Komodo and all that. You know what I mean? That was actually brilliant how they shot that. That and the other scary joint that has like a million movies now. Dog on it. The joint where it's gonna come to me, so I don't want to waste the time. But the scary joints that go on and it's like they're in the dark most of the time sleeping.
Oh, you're talking about, we got Hell House is one of the newest ones that does that. The camera movies. Are you talking about the ones?
No, not that one. But yeah, I know about that one too.
Yeah.
But that's so smart, dude. That's I mean, even when you think about it, right? And this isn't low budget, but it was just a smart play. And he's always said this, but Tyler Perry's always said in his initial movies, right? He only spent like $2-3 million on them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But opening weekend, he's making 50-60 million. You know what I mean? Right. And that's an everything. So for us now, it's like, okay, so on average, let's just say on average, you're going to spend about 40 to 50, right? And every script is different, and it all is about the script, and then it's about am I going to bring these, C-list, D-list celebrities in, the reality, TV stars in, because that's going to boost it, so that boosts your budget, and for the most part, you're in the 40 to 50,000 range. When you're doing this movie.
And that's the only reason you can make these 40 to 50,000 Tubi movies, because of the fact that you have free marketing through the artists and through the entertainers. Right at the end of the day.
Well, I think that's one component, but I think the other component is, you everybody can make them now, right? So like literally everybody's making movies. So if you're a street dude or whoever, these are sometimes, unfortunately, some of the movies that are the best quality, whatever, but like they got 30, 40, 50,000 just laying around, right? So that has nothing to do with social media. It's just like, oh yeah, I can do that. I can afford that. Not like literally independent films is the new drug.
Yeah, but they wouldn't be able to get people in the theater without the marketing of the entertainers that they're hiring.
Well, they're not getting people into the theater. Well, the only time we're actually in the theater is when we do the premiere.
Right.
Right. So we'll do a movie premiere. Maybe we'll do an encore show, but then it's going straight to Tubi.
Yeah.
And so once it goes to Tubi, and you only need that one hit, right? So like you only need that one good flip. That if I just spent 40,000 on, I made 200,000 in the first month.
Right, you make a good point, right? Because you could film that movie with people that don't really have acting careers or anything like that, and then once you put it on Tubi, if somebody finds a clip and markets it on social media,
and that's why I said you're right to a point, because like, dude, the Tubi world is real. So you think about like the Beehive, Beyonce, the Beehive is real. No, the Tubi world is real.
Right.
They are literally on these Tubi group pages on Facebook, and they're just going in one way or another, good or bad. You know what I mean?
Well, talk about the film that comes after Coffee Talk, right? How do you proceed your film career from that point?
So it was so Coffee Talk was 2017, I believe, and then I came back and I did, and I left in Vegas, and I think now I'm in it, right? Because now I've got just projects under my belt. There's so many short films I did, and I remember summer 2018, where now I'm just kind of, I'm in my mojo, you know what I mean? And Not Left in Vegas, and again, another comedy, hilarious. Now the only thing, looking back, I think that may have hindered my acting career, just because people now only see me as this comedic actor. You know what I mean? Which, that goes back to even doing the plays, right? So, and that's, that's not a regret or anything, because now I'm here, you know what I mean? But, obviously, better quality cameras, the plot, we went all the way up north, you know what I mean, to shoot in, what part of Michigan, but it was beautiful. You got horses, you got elevators, so everything is elevated, you know what I mean? And helicopters, everything, wardrobe, everything is just heightened. And it was a hit, you know what I mean? And I think that was what really got other filmmakers or producers to notice me, so they're like, yo, I want you to direct my movie or write my movie. And I want to say 2019 is really where it all like just blossomed for me, to where I'm writing and directing everybody's stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I have a couple friends that I found. I was watching the career of their directing and productions, and like, do you know Dylan Sides and
Dylan, yeah, man,
Lance Kawaz?
I don't know Lance. Dylan's Dilly Dill. It's my dude, man. Yeah.
I was in a couple of his shorts. He had the Mask series.
I was in the Mask.
You were in the Mask too?
I was a cop.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And actually, hurt myself.
What'd you do during the filming?
So it was a scene where I pull up or whatever, and the mat. So I don't know if you know what Apple Box is, but anyway, or people who are just going to watch this interview, it's like a box that is used for various things on set, right? And so the whole point was I was standing on it because the mask is supposed to be looking like he was raising me up, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? So I'm going up with him, and when he let me go, I so twisted my ankle. It was horrible coming down, but it was fun, man. We shot in the dead of winter. It was freezing, but that's the stuff you love as an artist, right? And seeing the make. I was just literally watching Dylan make this guy make a the mask and everything. Was dope, man. It was like really, really dope to do that scene.
They got like millions of views on that for YouTube, and then I think they tried to pitch their whole concept to somebody who owns the masks trademark or
The
something,
rights.
and they didn't let him do it for some reason. I remember Dylan was very upset. He's like, "Man, we did all that work because we were trying to get
Dude,
like
they
that
shot
vouch."
that for like years.
Yeah,
man.
that sucked
It
to
was
see
really,
that.
I mean, it was really good, man. Really good, yeah.
So you're kind of taking on this role as now everybody's looking to you for like a Darren Brown type thing where everybody's hitting you up to shoot films and to get involved in the scene.
I
right?
mean, I think that so I said that was 2019. It's we're in the middle of 2023 now, or a little past. I've become that big brother, figure, that mentor figure. But now, in the last year, it was about me getting back in front of the camera. So for like 2019 and 2021, I was just writing and directing everybody's stuff, and I truly miss the art of acting. You know what I mean? So, starting in 2022, I did my film Parental Discretion Advised, and that just fired off. So, and it was, I played as like Kingpin. You know what I mean? And it was like, wait a minute, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, but I mean, between that and also, writing and directing, so many just different genres of movies. So be it drama, be it thriller, be it pretty much everything but horror. People, started seeing my range. You know what I mean? And it's kind of a cool vibe to be in the position where I am right now, man. Just looking now, I'm the OG. They call me old, and I'm like,
I feel
it's
you,
like,
man.
all right, cool, yeah.
My OG time's coming too. Somebody called me Unk the other day.
Man.
I was like, Unk, all right, man, that's great. I'm Kid L, and now I'm Unk L. So I was like, this is not the best time of my life.
I remember I got my first Unk. That's sad to say. I got my first Unk in jail, man, and I was like, who you talking? Yo, Unk. I'm looking like, who's Unk? Because I'm looking at people obviously older than me, you know what I mean? And it was like, Unk, man, I know you hear me. And I'm, me. I'm Unk now?
I don't know why I can't imagine you being in jail, man. How is that possible?
Man, let me tell you something. The devil is a lie. Yeah, man, that was fun. I was filming, actually, in Atlanta. And this is 2021. And this is a true story. It sucks. Went to the rap party, right? And for those who don't know what a rap party is, it's not like a rap as in music. It's like, and it's a rap, the party. So the party that you go to when it's all done. And I remember I was not going to go because the Airbnb, for one, I was just tired. But the Airbnb that I stayed in was like 40 minutes away from the producer's house. You know what I mean? And dude, ended up going, and I'm like, all right, y'all, cool. It was such a cool vibe. I mean, it was a karaoke vibe. Like, it wasn't a turn up at all. You know what I mean? Whatever. Get in the car, I'm headed back, and I realized that, all the addresses that I've been having for the last 10 days in my GPS, I picked the wrong one, basically, long story short. So I'm trying to change it, and I'm swerving because, I'm looking down. Whoop, whoop. So I'm like, dang. So he's like, I said, officer, I'm literally 4 minutes away. Like, I just left the house. I'm like, 4 minutes, you can call her. I just left the house. He was kind of being a smart ass and, you're a filmmaker, huh? And I'm like, yes. What's the name of the movie? I'm behind closed doors. I'm showing him, like, I got stuff in the car. Like, you know what I mean? Whatever. And so at the max, I'm thinking, damn. They're going to come and take my car. Because I was leaving the next morning to come back home, right? And he was like, do the sobriety test. And I'm like, I'm like, yes, I had a couple drinks, officer, but I guess a couple was more than a couple.
Yeah, that's similar to me. I was shooting a music video. I pulled up to the red zone to shoot a music video, and I pull up behind a Bentley, and then cops swarm my car.
Yeah.
And they take us out, and I don't know how they found a gun in the car, but they found a gun in the car. And it was me and this artist just sitting there, and and I was like, Tim, I have nothing to do with this. I'm here to shoot a music video. And they open my trunk. They see camera gear literally everywhere. They're like, it's a good cover-up. And I was like, no, man.
Not a cover-up, bro. Yeah. I really do this, man.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, well, yeah, they checked my bags, and then I got locked up for a couple days. That was terrible, man. But it sucks. Yeah. It's like, at the end of the day, cops sometimes, I don't know. They just don't give a fuck sometimes.
They don't, man. And to think I had to go back to Atlanta to do those 15 days.
That's horrible.
sucked.
That's horrible.
Like, yeah, it really sucked, dude.
So it sounds like right now you're more focused on acting than getting back into the production bag, like just directing.
No. It's just a balance of all three. You know what I mean? Me and my team, we had this vision because you know, I was starting to really they could see that it was really starting to kind of bother me. You know what I mean? But I mean, I'm in every bag at this moment.
You did radio for a while, right?
Yeah, 12 years. Hot 107.5.
Talk about that experience, man.
That was dope, man. It was just like the only time where I could say it was actually kind of stressful, if there was any point, is when I got on the morning show, but I wasn't just I was the morning show producer and on air. So, you know, I'm producing for Big Greg and Delicious at the time, and Jay Will, a couple people, because the lineup was changing. But that getting up at 4, because I have to be there by 5, because I as the producer have to have everything ready for them at 6. Talking points printed out, all, you know what I mean, whatever the news, you know what I mean. I wasn't used to that. I'm like, dude, you know what I mean? I got to stay, you know, current on what's going on the night before, because we got to be the first people to talk about it first thing in the morning. That killed me. But that was towards the end of my career. But outside that, man, I mean, dude, you know, when you have the opportunity to meet so many people, interview so many people, so many celebrities, just really, really cool moments, man. Rocking Shane Park every summer for summer jams or wherever the hell we were. You know what I mean? Different places. I mean, it was a really cool experience, man.
Who were some people you got to run into that actually, for you personally, was like exciting?
All-time interview, without a doubt, Ice Cube.
Really, man?
Yeah, man. That was when he was promoting Straight Outta Compton.
Oh.
And like, you know, I'm like, that's Cube. You know, I mean, I've been a fan as music and film, right? And everything that he does with Cube Vision. But I think what the coolest thing was, you know, I'm shoot my shot. You know, I don't know any better, so I tried to give him one of my. I can't remember what script it was. You know what I mean? But you gotta go for it, right? And him and the director of Straight Outta Compton, F. Gary Gray, both kind of told me, yo, that's not the way to do it, right? Because you really need to have representation to give a script, right? But he was so cool, right? And he was teaching me the game, and he was, you know, he was like, yo, the coolest thing he did, he actually did a video for my ex-wife now, that I surprised her with at the reception. Like, he made a video, like, you know, yo, Kiana, I forgot what he said, but something, you know what I mean? It was just cool. And did 3 times. He's like, no, let me do it again. I'm like, all right.
That's cool.
Yeah, man. And so at the reception, you know, the projector screen came down and was like, yo, I got a special message. Somebody want to tell you something. And he was like, you know, so that was cool.
That's probably one of the greatest people that created, and I don't know how much production or how much he was behind Friday as far as the creation of it. I'm sure he had a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
But one of the first, like, lower budget kind of hood movies that broke out, and that gave everybody like a sign of like, there's a chance at this. Like, if you just create a great, because if you watch the film, it's not like some crazy things are happening. It's just a lot of great characters, a few locations in the hood, really, in a liquor store.
Dude, like the liquor store, Felicia's house, and his house, or Smokey's house,
and the street,
which was probably all in one block. You know what I mean? Like, that was genius.
Brilliantly made, just great script. Obviously, you had Chris Tucker, who held a lot of it to make it very, you know, funny and comical and all that stuff.
Right.
You had a little bit of a scenario in it. You just have great characters everywhere, and it really proved like, if you put the right people together and you tell a story properly, the budget doesn't have to be insane. But I think they said that the first time they had watched it before even screening it, they said they didn't like it for whatever reasons. They thought it was garbage. And
I heard something like that, but I didn't know how much to believe. But you also had to think then, right? Everybody, I mean, they're huge now, right? So Tucker blew up after Friday, right? Regina King, his sister, blew up after Friday. Nia Long after Friday. You know what I mean? Like, these are all like huge stars right now in the industry, which is why I'm saying that to say I'm a big advocate of finding new talent, right? And not that they were necessarily, you know, unheard of in Friday, but I mean, compared to me right now, right? So I love, I hold classes every November, right? Yeah. And I love being able to see that next. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think that's just there's something about it, just seeing them just spark off and you know what I mean? Really just seeing them grow into something that's huge.
I'll tell you what, I think right now, if you were to make a Friday movie for Detroit, like just something that could stand the test of what Friday was.
Yeah.
I think the best people to put together is Jack Funny, Jackpot the Juice, Tattoo Man Page, Crystal, and I think if you could find another gem there too. But those guys, if you put them in the right movie with the right script, it will be huge.
Yeah.
The problem is they're like kind of putting them in movies where it's like the script isn't really all together, the production really isn't all there. But if you gave them a Friday type production
where they could just go crazy in.
Yeah, with just a decent script, it will go huge. Even if you throw East Side Aggro on there because he has acting ability.
East Side, yeah.
So you throw those guys together. I'm telling you throw those core people together, you're gonna have a huge hit from Detroit. The problem is, like I said earlier, they're more worried on creating these low productions and just using these guys as free marketing versus actually putting them in a movie that works. If you do that, man, I'll do whatever. I'll market it for free. I'll do everything for free.
I got you in.
And everything to do for free. I'll hold the microphone. Like I don't care what it is.
And everybody that you named is my peoples, and I've worked except for
Jack Funny.
No, Jack Funny. I've never worked with him. I met him on the set of Bandemic.
Yeah.
I pulled up on him I really was just going to say what's up to James.
The Hummer Boys film, yeah.
Yeah, but me and Chris go back. Me and Chris go back to radio, dude. I was actually teaching her at one point how to work the boards. Like that's how far we go back. And then me, Tat, and Jackpot, I directed their first film, which was Fireworks, the movie, back in 2016. So like we all just go back, man. But those are all really good peoples, man, and they've busted their ass to be where they're at.
For sure, hell yeah. I'm telling you, put them together, it's over, man. Talk a little bit about your current projects and anything you have to promote right now.
Yeah, so I just did the premiere for The Wrong One, which was remember, so I told you my last play was 2016. That was The Wrong One, and so I just made a film. We did the premiere a couple of weeks ago, and that thing hit, man. It's a movie on domestic abuse, and pretty much seeing the red flags early and getting the hell out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That should be dropping in October or maybe September. Sometime. You know, when you get it to Tubi, it takes a while for it to actually come on. But that was that was really good feedback, and it was special because I had a chance to play a songwriter. Right, and so it had me an opportunity to, let the world see my first love again. And I had the chance to sing, and it was cool, man. It was a dope project, man. But outside of that, man, we're just working. I have 9 more films to go this year.
Wow. So
this is just happened to be vacay time, so this worked perfectly. But A Good Man Part 2 is we're about to start filming that next on September 5th. A Good Man was another one that just went crazy. I'm telling you, man, you get back down on the Tubi hole. Kid, you're missing some really good stuff. Okay.
Tubi?
Yes. I'm going to send you a list.
Yes.
And I want to see if you actually watch them. I'm only going to give you 3 movies.
Okay.
What you really think about them.
What movies?
I would say Good Man.
Okay.
I would say I want to make sure that I'm not even going to name just the movies that I'm in. I want you to see some stuff. You're like, yo, Kamal, he's right. That was good.
Okay.
So I'll do this. I'll say A Good Man. I'll say He Played Me. And then I'll say Sons of a Preacher.
Okay. And I'm gonna watch this back and put those down. I'm gonna
watch those.
I'm gonna ask you this question too, but I'm gonna tell you so you know what level of like film I'm into.
Okay.
My favorite films of all time are American History X,
Okay.
Fight Club,
Great movie.
Goodfellas, Shawshank Redemption, and realistically, even though it's a guilty pleasure, Casino. Those are like my.
What do you mean guilty? Dude, you should have said Casino before Goodfellas.
No. Goodfellas is more well crafted than Casino, in my opinion.
You are out your mind. Are you serious?
I think Sharon Stone is too much for me in that movie. That's why she's too much.
She was extra.
She did a lot. She did good. She did what she was supposed to do, which you're supposed to be annoyed with her character.
Correct.
But in Goodfellas, there wasn't a hint of anybody that annoyed me, even though it was just perfectly well told. But you're right. Casino was
Pesci.
more. Pesci was not annoying. Oh my God, I love Joe.
I mean, not annoying, but if you had to have a character that was just extra.
I love it.
Okay.
I had a dream about Joe Pesci this morning. That's crazy that you said that. I actually wanted to be like, I wish I could, if I tried to interview him, you know, he was one of the first people to go to accept an award and not really say anything. He just like accepted. He's like, thank you. And he just walked off
Really?
stage. Like, he's one of those dudes you could never talk to, I think. Like, he's just so in the zone of like, I just got to do my job and get away.
Yeah.
Like, he's like so like that. Well, now let's name your top 5 movies of all time.
Okay, cool. Easy. Not easy. All right. While we're on that genre, I can't believe you didn't say...
I just say 5. I was giving you 5.
Okay, all right. So of all times, this is all times now. Mm-hmm. All right, A Few Good Men. Mm-hmm. Oh, gosh. Come on. Oh, Lord. The movie, the Undercover Cop, Leonardo DiCaprio, Departed.
Okay. Yeah, that's huge. Yeah.
Top 5. I gotta throw John Q in there because that's I'm gonna tell everybody. That's the first movie that actually made me tear up. When because I didn't know. You know, when she ran to the door, it was like, I was like, oh, he's about to put the gun in his mouth. I said, oh my God.
Okay.
So that's 3. These are on the fly. I'm going to say, and it's feel me on this one because it's a little far left, but the performance I feel was insane. So I'm going to say Gangs of New York.
Ooh, Leonardo, old school.
Yeah.
It's a long ass movie.
It was. Jesus Christ, it was. Yeah. And 5. Dare I say, man? I mean, and this is just because I'm not even saying it's the best of all time, right? It's just my top 5, right? But the way Antoine Fuqua did Training Day, I thought was just masterful, right? Again, using Dr. Dre and Snoop, he's using all these elements. The actual extras in the movie were actually extras that were on the block, right? I'm looking at behind the scenes where Denzel is literally showing a young kid about the camera, but they're in the hood, man. Like they're in the hood, and Fuqua had the brilliance of saying, if we're gonna do it, I want it to be authentic.
Training Day is incredible. That movie is top 10 easily, man. That's one of the best good cop, bad cop films of all time, but also has so much depth into a personality. One interesting point you did make is that Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg are in that movie, and it's crazy that you said that because normally when you put like rappers or something, you watch the movie as Snoop Dogg's here or Dr. Dre's here. I forgot that was Dr. Dre. Yeah. Like his acting and the way that Fuqua put that together is like, you don't even think that's Dr. Dre.
Absolutely.
That was an intense fucking movie, dude.
It was. And I think, to have the chemistry between Ethan and Denzel, I mean, it was just perfect casting. You know what I mean?
Me and Tattoo Man Paige were talking for a long time about doing a rep. I used to have a goatee. I used to look like I was going to be Ethan and he was going to be Denzel.
Oh, yeah.
I was trying to tell him to do it. He didn't get together. This was a really fun talk, man. I'll have you back on again soon, man.
Do it. Let's do it.
We'll talk more film. Appreciate you being a part of this, man.
Appreciate
Kamal Smith
you coming,
is in
man.
the building. We're at Parallel Sound Studio, High Love Visuals, shooting these productions. We're out. Peace.